rescued that collection in February of '07, froze it for 6 weeks, and then brought it here. Now, the freezing decontaminates it of any pests and it deactivates mold growth, and you have to do the whole archival thing because we're really serious about what we're doing here. The exhibit at the Huntington Library is the first major presentation of Avery Clayton's collection since it was rescued, and it's a big deal to us. I'd like to tell you just briefly a little bit about the collection for those of you who don't know about it. My mother, Mayme Clayton, was a librarian, first at USC in 1952 at Doheny Library. And then she became a law librarian at UCLA in 1959. But she was a collector and a historian. And she was a collector of great brilliance. Over close to a 50-year period, she assembled what is today considered to be the world's largest independently held collection of African American history materials. And that's why we're here. The collection consists of over 30,000 rare and out-of-print books that date back to the first book published in America by an author of African descent. And that author was Phyllis Wheatley. The book is poems on various subjects, religious and moral. And my mother found the world's only known signed copy of that book. It's a hugely important piece of American history. Then there's a vast collection of original documents from slavery, such as travel passes and plantation inventories, bills of sale and slave sale announcements, and the personal correspondence of noted 20th century black leaders like Booker T. Washington and George Washington Carver, letters from Joseph B. Baker to Bricktop and W.C. Handy, and on and on. Then there's the film collection, and most of you are familiar with the film collection. Most of you know about Black Talkies on Parade, which we began presenting at the Museum of Science and Industry back in 1977, when I was just 2. I'm not lying. But yeah, it's the world's largest collection of African American films. Over 1,700 titles that date back to 1916. And a lot of people weren't even aware that African Americans were involved in the motion picture industry at its birth at the turn of the 20th century. Then there's a sheet music and record library. And it consists of sheet music that dates back to the late 1800s. And original scores by people like U.B. Blake and Noble Sissle and W.C. Handy and Fats Waller. And then, where's my brother Lloyd? Oh, there he is. Lloyd, Mom began collecting the records because it was just part of her passion. But Lloyd really took it over. And he's the one that has assembled the vast majority of the record collection. And even though he's only 20, plus, he assembled close to 10,000 sound recordings that date to the turn of the 20th century. Then there's the photograph collection, and it's estimated that there are about 75,000 photos that date to the birth of the camera in the mid-1800s, and a collection of memorabilia. And there's also the black movie poster collection, and you saw some reproductions of that in the hallway. So, what's the point of all this? The whole idea of culture is that culture is meant to be shared. The majority of African American history and culture is in boxes and basements and attics around the country today. We have a very limited window of opportunity to save this material and make it available to the public so that we can tell a story that is different than the one that is being told by popular media. According to popular media, in case you didn't know, African American culture, we're just one great big happy hip hop nation. But, you know, this collection begs to differ, and is much richer and deeper and varied. And we have assembled, you know, since we've been here in this facility, we have been here since late 2006. We brought the collection here in 2007, and since we've been here, we've amassed some major, important Los Angeles area collection.